Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Jarrell here.
And I'm Josh, and today we're here to do a season review of The Last of Us Season 2.
Season 2. Yes. It was a good season.
I thought it was an excellent season.
It was great. There's things that, of course, the fans have seen, and I definitely saw. I'm not going to just thoroughly trash everything during a reaction. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to see where they're going with it. See if I'm going to see the certain things that I want to see. But I would say they did a really good job telling the story from after the events of season 1 up until we fade to black at the end of this finale. But they did cut a lot out. And what I'm meaning about cutting out a lot is they cut out a lot of the violence to make you see how badass Ellie is. And they changed it drastically to basically make her more. And I know why. I know why studios do this. They have to. I mean, you would think HBO would want to do some violence. They can, right? But of course, they're also appealing to audience members.
Can you give me some examples?
Like yourself, who've never played the game. Yeah. So they're trying to bring in those audiences and not have so much violence that could basically turn those viewers off.
Can you give me some examples? Because since I've never played the game, like what you're talking about, I know it's kind of hard to.
Okay, so
is the Nora scene more brutal?
The Nora scene's about the same.
Yeah.
That happens about the same. I'm more talking about when you are playing with Ellie, because you're playing a game, but when she's in Seattle and she's going around trying to find clues as to where they are, she's coming across WLF. She's coming across Seraphites. She's coming across just other, people just trying to, kill other people around. But she kills. She kills a lot of people. You as the player
kill a lot of people.
You as the player, yes, but that also feeds into Ellie's personality. Because how they're portraying Ellie, in a sense, in the show is. She's a lot of fans have mentioned they make her act like she doesn't know what she's doing. They make her act like she's stupid when she does certain things. And that's not Ellie at all. Ellie knows what the hell she's doing. So one thing that fans brought up and that I noticed, so there were 2 members missing in the Joel death scene. So the Salt Lake crew had what you saw. You saw Owen, Manny, Mel, and Nora, right? And of course Abby. But there were 2 others, Jordan and Leah, right? Jordan's death is so badass. So you remember when Ellie went through the door when she was trying to save Joel and she swung her knife and actually hit Manny in the head? That actually was reserved for Jordan, and she slices his face. And so later on, when she's searching for Abby, she gets caught by Jordan, and Jordan has her tied up. She's mocking him like, oh, that scar is so disgusting, you are such an ugly motherfucker. And then eventually she breaks free, Dina shoots him, she breaks free, she comes up behind him, stabs him in the neck, and she's like, got you, motherfucker.
Ooh.
Yeah, with no dude. Yeah, she does.
That's actually pretty sweet.
That's sick, right?
Yeah, and so you've heard me on a couple of reactions say I want Ellie to have a lot of time with these people.
Exactly.
Because I want that revenge, and I want that scene to be so elongated that it gives me satisfaction as the viewer seeing that.
Yeah.
That would have absolutely given me satisfaction.
And that's the thing.
I'm surprised they took that one out.
Yeah, that one was awesome because it's just the thing that's missing is a lot of viewers who, of course, don't play the game. You're seeing small bits of Ellie turning into, okay, she's locked in. She sees
specifically with Nora.
You knew that she wasn't going to go back. She was going to stay, full steam ahead. Now, one other thing that they didn't show in that is when she goes into that building, she actually comes across one of the WLF girls, and she's interrogating her, saying, hey, where's Abby? Where's Nora? And she stabs her in the neck. And it's these types of things that you're not getting to show how the character is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And also it feeds into her anger and her revenge for why she's even there.
Yeah. The Nora scene, it's obviously the most brutal that Ellie
That you
was
saw.
in season 2 that you saw.
Yeah.
It really gave me thoughts of, and I hate to make the comparison because it's not a fair comparison, Walking Dead and Rick and Garrett scene, where Rick was not taking his eyes off of him.
Locked in.
And you could see
Predator
in the pupils, him following every movement that Garrett was making.
Rick was like a predator just staring at his prey.
It was brutal.
Yeah. It was badass.
It was badass.
It was badass.
And so when I see the Ellie and Nora scene, like you could see Ellie locked in. And Nora, and it reminded me of that scene.
So
not as brutal.
Yes.
Well,
yeah. Well,
it kind of was.
Yeah. Well, so take how Ellie looked in that Nora scene of how she acted. That's how she acts all the time.
Yeah.
Now the only times that you don't see her act that way, of course, is when she's around Dina and when she's around, Jesse and stuff. But when she's out, see, there's a lot of scenes. If you go back and look, there's a lot of scenes where they have Bella Ramsey looking scared in firefights and with infected. Like she's looking like, oh my God. And the one thing that makes it good and also bad is when Dina is there in the show, they make her just seem like so afraid to do anything because, yeah, of course she wants to protect Dina, of course, right? But you're not seeing that ruthlessness and the anger and how a seasoned veteran, I wouldn't say she's not a seasoned veteran killer. She kind of is in the game, but she's a seasoned veteran. She knows how to take care of herself.
But they, at least in the show, they made it seem like, and maybe it was just because of the time skips, but Ellie, in my opinion, just from me watching it, is not exposed to the outside world other than the runs that she makes outside of Jackson.
Mostly, yeah. But she's not afraid, though. That's the thing.
No, I get it.
The difference is...
And she wasn't afraid in the show either. Like, she was willing to jump into that building.
She'll do it. It's just I'm more taking the facial expressions I'm seeing of Bella. She's looking more scared rather than the hardened look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what's taking the ruthlessness away from her a little bit. So like another example is when Owen and Mel, their deaths.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you is how did the game character react to killing a pregnant?
So here's the thing. So when she gets there, she does kind of the same thing, point to the map or whatever. Now, in the game, Ellie and Owen fight each other, and they kind of fight over the gun. Owen gets shot like he does, but then Mel and Ellie fight each other, and Ellie actually stabs her in the neck, and she doesn't realize that she's pregnant until she falls on the ground. Owen actually kind of says as he's dying, she's pregnant, right? So then she goes over to her, pulls open her coat, and sees her pregnant.
Man,
so she does. So the way that she reacted in the show is similar to the game. She freaks out because she killed a pregnant woman, but who do you think she's thinking of?
Dina.
She's thinking of Dina.
Yeah. And so...
Yeah.
But that's a little frustrating, too. I would have much rather her fight Mel than a ricochet happen.
Oh, wait. Go ahead.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because they made it seem like, she was never going to kill Mel, right?
In theory, she was not going to kill either of them. She wanted
killing
Abby.
her because of a fight is justified.
Is justified.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. I'll tell you a secret from what I've seen on Twitter. It's making the rounds. They actually filmed the game accurate version of those kills.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have taken that out.
The showrunner said they cut it because the actor who plays Owen is 6'4". Bella, of course, is not, and they felt that he would overpower her, and it didn't work well for live action.
That's ridiculous, right? Because you just had a scene earlier in the season where she essentially takes down Jesse.
Remember her training? She took down that massive man.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry, not Jesse. The man training. That she was fighting with.
Yeah, that was a massive man. That dude was bigger than Owen.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me just because the actor's 6'4" and Bella's 5'5"? And I don't even think now in the game. I would say Ellie's 5'7", maybe 5'8". I don't know. But also in the trailer, I remember people were like, you know how they do things in movies? You remember in Avengers Infinity War in the trailer where they showed all of them running towards the camera and that shot was actually never in the movie? So apparently there were some shots in the trailer, in the Last of Us trailer, that were not in the show. They showed a shot of Ellie firing like a machine gun, like badass. Wasn't there.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that. I mean, I know it's for promotional stuff, but it's like, don't show footage that you're cutting just to splice a trailer together. But anyway,
I don't.
But
yeah,
getting back to my main point is, we missed seeing a lot of Ellie being badass and being ruthless. There we go. In her quest to find Abby, because they cut out. And I understand it's a game, so like it's single player, you're playing as Ellie, but you could have shown her going out on her own, bring Dina if you want, and going through some of the Seattle suburban areas where she's searching for clues and they're running into WLF. There's another big thing that fans didn't like is the bow and arrow is Ellie's kind of weapon of choice in the second game. And that I'm fine. We didn't see much, but that was more with. It would be cool to see that. But
did they have Ellie question the mission like we saw in the show with the conversation with Dina? Because that was one thing that was frustrating to me is as soon as Nora and Ellie have the conversation, and Ellie seems to have struggled because of what she did to Nora. She tells Dina about Joel and what happened with WLF. And then the decision is made to return back to Jackson. End of the mission, return back to Jackson. That's in a nutshell what was decided there. It wasn't until she saw the whale in the wheel that she made the decision, I'm going to continue this mission.
Right.
Was that the same way?
No, so
where I'm going with that is that's frustrating for me, right?
Right.
Because she is on a mission. They traveled that far to do what they wanted to do. And I don't know what was so traumatized. Maybe it's because she she vengefully killed Nora.
Yeah.
That's what you were there for.
Yeah.
That's what you went there for.
Yeah, but it even though I say I miss, we didn't see a lot of vengeful things from her and being ruthless, but she still, of course, is a human being, and she still understands that if she brutally kills somebody, it's going to affect her. And it affected her just because you could kind of maybe think that she's also thinking of, how badly they tortured Joel, that she did the same thing to Nora. In true, she kind of did, but I'm just trying to kind of giving my opinion of her psyche of why she felt so bad about what she did to Nora.
The challenge of that is that she doesn't feel that way in the game. And I don't want to, trying to compare it to the game that much. I mean, at the end of the day, right, this is...
Well, you kind of have to. It is an adaptation.
Yeah, I get it.
With some, of course, a lot of things change. But, so no, like Dina... And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't believe Ellie... I don't know if Ellie really ever told Dina the full truth about what happened. It didn't happen like that in the game.
I mean, that brings up another conversation of I've seen things on like shorts or TikTok, whatever, that some fans are upset that they put the epilogue. Is it the epilogue? The porch scene in so early instead of saving that conversation between Ellie and Joel.
Yeah, it was. You get that later on,
yeah.
But I was fine with it because
I think it fit the story where they were telling the story.
It fit where they were doing the story in the show. It totally fit because basically where that comes is actually I think that comes at like the end of the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like they took the end of the game and they moved it to the middle of the show.
I have no problem with that just because of how they did that part of it in the show. Yeah. I think it needed that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's set up. Well, that's the thing is it's set up her showing you their disconnect and then her willingness to try to change, and that's And then that's what feeds into her vengefulness is they were making things better. They were getting better. He gets brutally murdered. And now it's her time to go take revenge on that. Yeah. So it does fit. What were we talking about? So you were talking about after the Nora thing. So it was kind of similar in the game. Yes, Jesse is there he wants to bring them back, but Ellie's like, no, we're not going back. The only time that Ellie mentioned about going back home, it wasn't for her, it was for Dina, because when she finds out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
But Dina,
but
they figured it out. Dina wasn't going anywhere. Yeah. So they pushed on, and I really wanted them to, they could have included Dina a little bit more, but I really wanted like maybe Ellie just to go out on her own to search for clues, and we get some of those game time things where she's. I'm not saying we have to see Ellie brutally kill people. Yes, you do that in the game, but you do want to see a little bit of it because it ties into her personality. It ties into why she's there. It's not like she wants to kill people. They're going to try to shoot you on sight. So what do you have to do? You got to defend yourself.
Did the Seraphite scene happen? The Ellie Seraphite scene before the whale in the wheel.
Yeah, you do come in contact with Seraphites, and you do see them do kind of the disembowelment.
No, I know that.
Do they? I think they might have. Let me know in the comments if they did. Let us know.
Your memory.
Yeah, it's not like I played the game before we did the show.
It would have been a square thing to get out of the news.
Yeah. I don't know if they did or not. I'm not sure if they did.
I don't know. I could be wrong on that key.
I think they, of course, you saw someone else strung up and they did the disembowelment.
Yeah.
But But that's where and that's why she started using the bow and arrows, because she wants to be quiet. Yeah. Because the weapons that she has, she doesn't have a suppressor. So what's up? What's quiet?
Well, even a suppressor is not completely
quiet
silent
as you think. Yeah. So I think. They did a good job telling the story. I know a lot of the gaming fans like myself, we wanted there were some things cut that that they wanted in there. But how they did it in a pretty good time frame in those episodes, to where we ended in the finale, to where now we're going to move on to Abby's story, which I think they'll still do some flashbacks, because that's why they're wondering if, Pedro Pascal's coming back, and they could still do some flashbacks, most certainly. And then even the showrunner said, yeah, we're going to need a season 4 to finish because there's a lot left. Overall, season 2. Actually, let me get your thoughts. I got to stop talking. I'm the one that played the game.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Amazing story. Absolutely loved everything. The only thing that I had a problem with, and I said this, was her wanting to go back, or her accepting from Dina that they wanted to go back, just because she told Dina Joel's background on what happened.
Yeah,
that was at the end of the day.
That was out of character. So.
Yes, Ellie's upset about it, but again, look, Joel did a fucked up thing, but at the same time, he saved her life. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I really enjoyed it. My favorite episode, obviously, was the flashback episode, because the father stuff that they put in there was absolutely amazing.
That was cool. I think one reason why they moved up, or why they probably had Ellie tell Dina, was when we got that story from Dina's background of when she saw her family get killed, and so I think maybe that's why they changed it up to where then Ellie now explains why this whole thing has happened, and she gave the information about Joel. So
the other thing, let's talk about this. The Stalkers were
were so good.
Absolutely amazing this season.
So good.
How they did that from the very first time that we saw them, thinking that it was literally a cat running across the screen, was awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome.
Stalkers were really, really good. Super creepy.
The Battle of Jackson was cool.
Oh, the Battle of Jackson was awesome.
Yeah.
One thing that's not in the game at all, and that was so awesome.
See, and that's the thing. Like you got to weigh what you get versus is it worth the things that you don't. Now, when you tell me about the Jordan stuff, that's upsetting, because That's a badass scene.
It's a badass scene
that I would have absolutely loved to put in there.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it would solidify more of people who, because I know a lot of fans do not like Bella Ramsey as Ellie, but
which is absolutely, who gives a shit, dude?
It's just like, well, what they're fixated on is, that's the problem, is that because they cut out a lot of the violence and showing Ellie doing those kinds of things. That's why fans aren't liking Bella, is because you're not giving us Ellie.
Yeah.
What we're seeing, like a lot of fans are like, what I'm seeing, that's not Ellie at all. She's supposed to be brutally killing people in her quest for vengeance. And they're cutting it all out.
Yeah.
And when we do get kills, they're not as, they don't feel as meaningful. And, it's just not impactful for those. Now, these showrunners are trying to appease to, yes, they can't just appease to people who played the game. They have to appease to new viewers. So they have to tell the story in a more story-driven, character-driven aspect. And I think the showrunner mentioned that. I understand that. There's nothing
you could still have her be brutal, though.
But you can still add those scenes in there.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you this, and again, it goes back to what I've said in the previous reactions. I actually would want to see Ellie be more vengeful and ruthless, especially after the scenes with Joel, the flashback scenes with Joel.
Yeah.
When you see how adorable they were together, how he cherished her, and how she in turn respected and loved him. Without a doubt, she loved him.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you see those scenes, in my opinion, and you guys can comment on this as well, I don't care how ruthless she is. If she's getting revenge, I'll love it even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could put her in there, as long as she doesn't kill an innocent child, right? But they're not going to do that,
right?
If you would have put the Jordan scene in there, I would have been like, "That's badass. That's Ellie. That's what I want."
He was one of them. He was one of the crew, and so, he was about to kill her, so she's going to do her thing and kill him, and that's what she did. So, it's just those small things, guys. I'm not nitpicking saying the season was bad because of it, but I do think for some...
There's people that are killing it.
Yeah, I just do think that they missed some of Ellie's characteristics of her personality in not seeing her be vengeful and not seeing her be hardened, and more seeing her be more frightened, a little more scared, a little more timid, I should say, than doing these things.
You're not going to...
But...
please everyone. There's people that are pissed and stopped watching it because Joel died.
Yeah.
Because a major part of the story happened.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. Go back to how many people stopped watching The Walking Dead when Negan killed Glenn?
Well,
and mostly Glenn and Abraham. It was Glenn and Abraham, of course, but it was because
some
of Glenn.
things were not justified.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Rick leaving and Carl.
Yeah.
That absolutely will get you half of your show gone.
Yeah.
This was planned. It was supposed to happen. It kicked off a story.
Yeah.
That event.
Yeah.
You
have to think, though, are those fans non-gamers who don't understand?
Then to me, I don't buy that.
But
because you got to respect the source
if
material.
you're going to be invested in a show,
then you should understand the source
then
material.
you should still watch it.
Not spoil it.
Yeah.
But,
But don't, just because you love a character and he dies, then you stop watching, then it's like, well, then you're not going to understand why.
Part of telling a story is to get a reaction from the person that's watching that story.
Yeah.
And whether that's a bad reaction or good reaction is a positive thing.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah. I like what they did with Isaac, his backstory. I thought that was really good.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
One of the scenes that I will always go back to and watch again is when we first get introduced to him. Mm-hmm. And the moment that he says that he corrects the soldier in there as to why they call them the voters, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It was a ruthless scene.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I love them introducing the spores. I love how they introduced the spores and the team going down there, and then they get locked in because...
Well done on the CGI.
CGI was great.
For that scene.
It was beautiful.
Just the blowing out of the spores. And, I had asked you off camera, are those people on the walls, still alive, and the virus keeping them alive.
Yeah.
And you obviously answered no, but
yeah. So I also sent you like a thing I got from Google. It's based off a real thing.
Yeah.
Spores will basically take over a host, and
not spores.
Well,
you can get sick off of a spore.
Off of a spore, but in real life, that's what happens.
You're talking about the fungi.
The fungi. Yeah, it'll use the host and use it as to breathe out spores or whatever. So it's based on a real thing,
which they introduced in the very first episode, where they explained that.
Yeah,
which was cool. But
in the first season, you mean?
Yeah,
when they were going
very
through
first
the
episode.
Yeah.
But the spores actually, man, I don't know if there's a documentary on the anthrax thing that happened in the post offices here in the United States.
Yeah.
And the spores that had gotten people sick from just it cleared out a building.
Yeah.
It was that sensitive.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, the way they did that was beautiful. I really liked what they did with Dina. They really expanded her storyline and gave more with her and Ellie to really show their relationship. You get it in the game as well. I know some fans were upset that they didn't get a specific scene. There was like a scene with Dina and Ellie. They're just chilling, they're smoking weed, and they're just talking. And it's more of Dina trying to get Ellie to come out of her shell and kind of admit more that, look, Dina's like, I know you like me. Like, just tell me. Like, she's kind of bringing it out of her. Yeah. It was a cute scene. I wasn't upset they didn't use it, but it was kind of just, you get those specific scenes in mind that you want to see and you don't. That was when I mentioned I preferred the game scene after Ellie killed Nora to the show. The show did a good job, but I felt the game had more of an impactful piece of it. But either way, it was still great.
The scenes between them are absolutely awesome. I loved the guitar scenes, especially the first one, where she's singing that song and Dina walks in, or Dina sits down and listens.
Yeah.
Just you could see the actress did an amazing job of just her reaction watching the person that she's falling in love with play this beautiful song, an acoustic version of it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's really cool. Jesse was a great character.
I love Jesse.
Unfortunately,
I was pissed when he died.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of the same in the game. Yeah, it's kind of the same.
It sucks because he's like he was groomed for the next big leader of Jackson.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. Just him in the scenes that he had with Ellie leading up to his death, and him saying, "I'm gonna get my baby in me. I can't die, and I'm gonna get my baby the hell out of here." Just awesome, powerful. Loved the character, strong character.
Yeah, I don't recall in the game if he knew that she was pregnant. I don't think it came up, but who knows? Maybe could.
But I mean, that's what you get when you go from a game format to a show. Yeah. You get to know a lot more information.
Gives it more context. Gives it more context to the character. Because he was only there to bring them home. He didn't want to stay out there. He was going to help them as much as he can, but he wanted to bring them home. That was the mission. Basically, him and Tommy. They were going after. Actually, I'm sorry. It was a little bit different.
Tommy was in the scene where Joel dies.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, Tommy was coming after them, but Tommy actually was going after them.
Yes.
He was going to kill them all.
That's kind of what I'm getting at based upon you and I talking after, obviously, the scene's already happened.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would suspect, and that's kind of why when we did that reaction, I was curious to know what the conversation was going to be like once Ellie got back to the movie theater and Tommy was there. Now, me not knowing what happens in the game, that scene never happens. Maybe it'll happen in the future. I don't know, but...
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that'll be in season 3, and then the true finale of the game is a lot too.
Well,
it's pretty sweet. But
based upon my comments earlier of leaving the show because Joel's not around, wait for people to realize that they're going to be watching a show.
Season 3
from Abby's perspective,
Abby's point of view. Yeah. I don't, and that's the thing. I don't know if they'll do. Depending on how many episodes, I mean, they could do a whole season on it, but still kind of go back and forth. Or you can say so many seasons are geared towards her backstory, and then I don't know. I have a feeling of where the finale will end up, but we'll have to wait to see. But other than that, I mean, season 2 was good. It was great. I say, fuck good. It was great. It was a great season.
I think it was better than good. I think
great.
it was awesome.
It was great.
I think it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I'm going to have little things that I may not like or agree with, but it's part of watching a show that's geared towards, it's live action now. You're geared towards viewers and storytelling. Yes, the game has excellent storytelling. It did, or it does, excuse me. But, with taking a lot of the violence out of it, I can understand why to a point, but putting some in there would help give more action scenes.
I'm struggling with that.
After I told you the Jordan thing,
that's
some other things.
Too. You can't sit there and say we're gonna take away the violence from Ellie and then show a scene where they're gutting someone and it's full on violence.
Yeah,
right. Especially when Ellie's violence deals with the element of revenge. Yeah, right. We as the viewers want to see that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it would have been perfectly fine.
It would have been.
I don't think you would have lost any viewers or love for Ellie because she's going on a murdering rampage.
Exactly.
These people are not good people.
They're not. She's in the middle of a war, and she's going to have to fight to get to the people that she needs to get to. So you need to show that fighting. Otherwise, we're just seeing a fight here, a fight there, and when you see Ellie, you're not seeing, okay, this girl is not as tough as we think she is. We see her tough in small bits, but we're not seeing it consistently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you could say, well, maybe it's not consistent because, the love of her life is there, so she's a little more timid now because she has to protect her if Dina gets in trouble. I mean, it's just going to happen. She's going to protect Dina as much as she can, but if she's fighting some people, she's got to get rid of them first, and then hopefully Dina can take care of herself, which she can, and then she can get to Dina hopefully in time to save her or whatever. But man, so I've heard that production is not going to start until next year.
That sucks.
I've heard rumors of it will start this year, like late in the year, but from what I've heard, maybe early production will start this year, but filming isn't going to start till next year.
I think it's a little early for anything right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to.
That might change.
It might change. I'm thinking it's probably not. It'll be 2027 for season 3.
Oh, dude, that's brutal.
It's going to suck. I'm hoping it's next year if they can maybe do it. But of course, actors' schedules, who knows what people have going on in the meantime. Actors got to work. So, I don't know. Yeah. No. Well, hopefully we don't have to wait too long, guys. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like, what similar to what I mentioned. Do you want to see more violence? Would you have wanted to see more violence from Ellie like they did in the game? Were you fine with not as much violence, more story driven? Just let us know your thoughts. Be nice in the comments as well. Don't go ham on people just because people are expressing opinions. Yeah. So just be nice to everybody. But we thank you guys so much for checking out our reactions, and we cannot wait for season 3.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while. So if anything comes up, we'll let you know. And of course, when the first trailers and teasers drop, make sure to check out our reactions. We'll definitely see it at a time. So we'll see you guys later. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're up.